ago, but close enough. We're going to be auctioning off this beautiful Raymond Whale watch from Royal Jewelers. It's about a $2,000 watch. That's the value of it, and this thing is phenomenal. You can see it right now by going to am1100theflag.com and clicking on the big deals page and checking out the auctions there, and you're going to see what we're talking about here. And we're going to start auctioning this one off tomorrow at 8 a.m., and you could get a great watch at a big savings. The last couple auctions we've done, people have saved like about 35% on stuff that's really cool, so can't wait to see how this one goes. That's coming up tomorrow at am1100theflag.com. We are pleased to be joined in studio by our good friend Dave Dietz from Preference Employment Solutions.
We got a new theme song for Dave coming in.
Working for a living.
Taking what we're getting because we're working for a living, right, buddy?
That's right. Hey, David, how are you?
Awesome. Living the life I choose.
You have a theme. You have a theme song now.
Yeah, that's
Boy,
nice.
This is awesome. Kevin, he keeps stepping it up around
Yeah,
here.
that's
I like
right.
It was between that or Working Man by Rush. I figured I'd go here.
I like this one.
Yeah. Go Working for MCA by Skinner too, but that wouldn't fit as well.
Little
Like it
Huey
a lot.
Lewis. That'll
Yeah.
get us going. Yeah. David, great seeing you as always. How are things in the in your world these days?
You know, things are good. We've got some job openings. We're recruiting for people. We know people. We're looking to know more people. So life is good.
Yes. Tell us what's happening in our local economy right now. What sort of industries, sectors are employees very scarce? Where does there maybe seem to be an oversupply? How are we doing here in town?
Mm-hmm. You know, it depends on who you ask in the day.
Yeah,
I
I
think,
bet, I
right?
bet.
There seems to be, you know, some confusion out there in the world yet these days with this unique COVID recession that we're in. You know, there are some businesses hiring. There really are. We know them. And we're lucky here in our local economy to have some businesses that are adding employees. They're doing okay. There are some businesses that aren't, that, you know, have had to lay some people off in light of these economic times.
Yeah.
And so, you know, you work through that. But there are industries hiring, you know, healthcare is still hot. There's still jobs for truck drivers. A lot of manufacturing companies, construction companies, they're looking for help right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, this is a time of year, too, when I think a lot of construction projects, you see it with some of the road work and, you know, some contracting projects around town. I think everybody's kind of feeling like, okay, maybe it's a little safer to go out and do our things again and get some of these things going. So we kind of had a little bit of a backlog, don't you feel like, in our area with the things that normally get done in the summer?
Yeah, there does appear to be some pent-up demand. I've heard from some of our clients earlier this year that, you know, they got just a late start to the year, right,
Yeah.
for obvious reasons. And so, but as we know in our neck of the woods, you know, fall and winter still come around.
Yeah.
And so we got to
Yes.
get some things done before, you know, the weather freezes this November.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep. So now is the time to do it while the weather is still good. Yes, absolutely. I'm sure you've been following, like we have, the unemployment bonuses, and the president, through an executive order, is now giving an extra $400 a week to employees that have been affected by losing their positions. It was $600. And I know last time we talked to you, said that has been an issue with employers being able to bring people back, is it's almost a disincentive to work. Is $400 going to be enough of a disincentive to work that we're going to have the same problem?
That's the question. I don't think so. But you know, that is the question of the time, obviously. Yeah, you know, we I think everybody wants to get our economy going. And, you know, like we were just discussing, there are employers hiring. And so if people want to contribute to the economy, gosh, now's a good time. Yep. There's jobs out there.
Is any of the work that you do with your clients, whether it's permanent placement or looking for somebody for a certain amount of time, has any of your work at your company changed during kind of this virus season that we've been in?
Has our
Are
work
people
changed?
looking for more of one thing than the other, or is there any trend behind the work that you are doing for your clients that's maybe a little bit different because of what we've seen the last few months?
You know, I can't think of anything real major regarding that, Steve. And maybe the reason why is because Preference has become more diversified in recent years. You know, we have our labor industrial division that does help a lot of manufacturers, logistics companies, some construction, et cetera. We have an office support division. We have a professional division that helps executives and sales professionals, business managers, you know, accountants, niches like that. And so, we're, I guess, a good sample of what's going on in the local economy, because our preference is a local employee-owned company just right here in the Fargo-Moorhead region. And so, we do see a lot of stuff, but I'm not seeing any real changes at this time.
So they're still needing you for the things that they always have. That's good to know. I always like talking a little bit to you about kind of organization, how to build a good company. And I know that you believe that pursuing profits, which you have to do in a business, you have to blend that with a purpose of some kind. Tell me about that mix for you at Preference.
Yeah, we really believe that when you're in business, which is fun. To us, business is a game, right? And I think it is for you too. It's a game, it's a responsibility, but it doesn't have to be a job necessarily. And so we really believe that God put us here to do some good things, and so we do blend purpose with profit. I don't know about you guys, but when I retire, I want to be able to look back and go, dang, we helped some people.
Yes.
We did some good work. And so to your point, yes, you have to have a profit to survive. You have to have a profit to serve your purpose. But if you're only after profit, I don't know. I'm not sold on that. I think that might lead to maybe a lonely life, maybe an empty soul. And people, I see that if they know what their purpose is in their job, in their career, they're going to be more successful anyway.
Yeah, no question about it. Well, and I always say this too. You could always make more money at your company by doing a lot of things, cutting corners, being cheap with what benefits or things like that. You could always do that. But in the long run, taking care of your team and doing right by your customers too, it leads you to have health of your organization that's going to contribute to profits coming in the long run. So it doesn't seem to be an either or to me.
They can really just go together well. There again, we need profit to have capital. You need capital to reinvest in your business, to serve your purpose more. You need capital to give raises. You need capital to buy new equipment. You need capital to thrive and serve your purpose well. But there again, if you have profit to serve your purpose well, then that's a good life. If you can do both together well, that's a good deal.
Doesn't it seem like we live in a climate too right now where there's this voice? I call it the loud voice in the corner of the room, but it seems like that voice is really loud sometimes, that wants people to feel like you should apologize for making money at your company. You're taking advantage of somebody. Like if you're doing well, it necessarily means that someone is getting victimized, whether that's a client, a customer, an employer, or whatever. But if you really believe that what you're doing is helping people, your employees, your community, whatever, you have to be profitable in order to continue to grow what you do so you can do more of that in more places.
Exactly. One of our programs that our employee owners came up with a few years ago at Preference is called Casual for a Cause. And boy, it's really simple, but man, it's popular. So for a buck a Friday, every EO gets to come in casual for the day, and then the company matches a certain percent of our gross profit every year. So like our gross profit in 2019, we take a percent of that, and that funds our Casual for the Cause fund for, the next year, 2020, for example. And so, there's an example right there. And that Casual for a Cause fund, boy, we've given away a lot of money and time with that just to help people out. It's just sometimes simple things. We meet so many people that, come in our doors looking for a job. And sometimes, once in a while, there's a good person that just has had some bad luck.
Yeah.
So we've bought many tanks of gas. We've bought a few groceries for people just to get them through that first week or two until they get their first paycheck.
Yeah.
And our employee owners, they control it. I mean, they just decide, how they spend that money.
Yeah, that's great. What a great story. How do you measure this whole purpose thing? So it's harder with say net operating income. We all know what that looks like. Expenses is subtracted from your revenue, gives you how your company did. It's easy to look at that. Okay, well, this contributed, that contributed. With purpose, it's a little harder. You don't have a certain number that's assigned to that. So how do you measure and keep track of, okay, 2019 finished up, how do we do meeting our purpose? How do you kind of work through that?
Oh, that's the fun part. To us, it's stories, and more stories. And boy, do we have a lot of them at Preference.
Yeah, sounds like it.
So our purpose is just helping people reach their potential, right? And, a couple quick examples that can mean, it means a lot of things to us. It means the executive, that is confidentially working through preference to find their next, opportunity. He or she maybe feels capped where they are and wants a private visit with a professional behind closed doors to, get plugged in at a executive level role somewhere else. All the way to the other end of the spectrum, it's maybe somebody, they're younger, more looking for an entry level job, and maybe to them at that time in their life for what they're looking for, the way to help them is just find them a job that's closer to where they live. Maybe it's a 10-minute commute instead of 30-minute commute. So anyway, there's so many ways we help people, but it's the stories that really fuel us. Yeah, the stories are the wind in our sails. Like last week, a guy on our professional team, Corey Holan, over at Preference, he's been working with a job seeker that was in the military for many years. And anyway, we found him a great job. And he calls up Corey and he says, "This is my dream job. Oh my gosh." He's doing a technical writing position. Very good job. And when we hear things like that, when someone tells you, "You found me my dream job," that makes us feel good.
Yeah, very cool. Did your purpose piece of it evolve over time, or did you know kind of the day one you start working, this is what our purpose formula is going to look like?
Our company's over 32 years old, right? And we joke that we're a 32-year-old startup. We got around to really defining our purpose about 4 years ago. And, it's interesting when you do that, you have to look at who are you really, genuinely, who are you today? What is your brand? But then also what is your aspirational purpose or your aspirational vision? So we got lucky because ours is both, helping people reach their potential. But what's interesting about our story and how we came up with our purpose is it wasn't just me. It was our whole team. There again, we're employee owned. We brought everyone to the table and said, "Hey, everybody, who are we? What do we stand for? Why do we exist?"
Yeah.
And that's what the team came up with.
Yeah, very good. Tell me a little bit about how you try to show that purpose piece of it to the clients that you work with on the business level. So you'll have individuals that'll come to you, and then you'll have companies that'll come to you. If we need somebody, we might call you and say, "Hey, David, we need a new whatever." And you find that. So how do you try to communicate that to your clients on the business side? I can see how it'd be easy on the individual side, but corporately, it seems like it might be a little harder to make that outreach. How do you do that?
Well, it starts with the talent network, right? And if we can do a good job at serving the job seekers that come to us, looking for work and help them be really successful and where we help them land in their new opportunity, indirectly, we're helping our client business. Because if we help somebody reach their potential, well, we have to plug them in at a business client per your reference. And so, bingo, that client of ours is doing better because that new person they hired through preference is doing better. They do go together. Yeah. And then, other ways that we like to impact our clients' businesses, from a general standpoint, the outsourced human resources type things that we help with them. And we hear stories from them too. It's kind of like we do our quality checks after we place somebody in a job. At minimum, that first 90 days, we're going to talk to that client at least a few times. Hey, how's training going? How's your new hire fitting in? Is everyone getting along? Are they demonstrating the skills that we all thought that person had to be successful? Things like that. Well, we hear stories on that side too. And it's fun when you get those compliments from hiring managers that say, "Wow, hey, you guys found us Steve. Boy, he's a rock star. Thanks for that." And he's, they'll give you examples on how he's doing in their business, and that feels good too.
Yeah, absolutely. Tell me about where do you go with your money for the casual for a cause? You talked about where Fridays you throw a buck in the hat and you can wear shorts or whatever. Where do you go with that money? Where does that go?
How do we
you give it to? Yeah, how do you spend it?
Oh, yeah, it's really anyone in our talent network that our staffing consultants feels that they just need some help.
Okay.
Yeah. So there again, it's the tank of gas, it's some groceries, it's whatever, whatever. If there's something that we can do financially just to help that person out to, be able to get to work. Maybe it's a taxi ride, or maybe it's a rental car for a week. It's really just whatever they need help with.
Okay. So you're not giving it to the United Way or something like that. You're finding people you can give that money directly to.
Yeah, we definitely have given to the United Way over the years, but this is our own deal. Yeah, this is our own fund.
Well, you talk about stories, and what a way to create some great stories. You must have some people that come back to you even months, years later and say, what you did, you might have thought it was a small thing, but it got me going. It let me know there were people that were pulling for me, and now look at where I'm at. You must hear stories like that.
Well, we do. Just this last Monday, I heard one from one of our staffing consultants at Preference. Her name is Bianca Wiederick, and she had met someone just last week, Steve, who she came in and they talked for over an hour about her career search, and she had been a Preference several years ago. I don't remember exactly, but it was a long time ago, and she's been at her current job 25 years, if that helps us understand how long it's been. And that person, came back after all those years and wanted to have a confidential conversation on where to go from here.
Yeah, very fun. What you talked about, the profit allows you to grow and keep developing your company and that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. What do you hope the future looks like for Preference Employment Solutions? Do you hope that there can be an office in Wahpeton someday, or 10 offices, nationwide company? What kind of things do you want to do with the company?
Right now our employee owners have aspirations for doing a lot and a lot more. Diversified human resources and hiring services here in the Fargo-Moorhead area. We truly are local. We're a South Fargo kitchen table story that's now 32 years old. So, yes, that. However, it is dangerous to think small.
Yeah.
And if it's not in the plans today to go regional, but you never know. It depends on what our team wants to do. I'll back them up if they want to do that.
I love that saying, it's dangerous to think small. I know why I believe that. Tell me why you believe that.
Well, it's the reverse of our purpose. Our purpose is to help people reach their potential. We have to do that with ourselves as well. Mm-hmm. And if you think small or think of limitations in your mind, well, you're not doing that. So.
Yeah. Don't you feel like every day is kind of a gift back to God for giving us life and breath and the opportunities we have? And
yeah. I mean, like I tell my kids all the time, my teenagers, God gave you a brain and a body. Use it.
Use them both.
God wants it, and pay it forward. Do some good in the world as best you can, and that's why we're here.
Yeah, good stuff. David, always great to talk to you. Thanks for coming in today and sharing a lot of wisdom with us. It's always fun to talk about just philosophy and big picture stuff too, and looking at life from the 10,000-foot perspective. That's what you do every day. You've got great people doing a lot of the work that, the real turning of the wrenches, and then you're kind of looking at the leadership stuff and where do we go and how do we do it. So
it's fun.
Yeah, very good. Great to see you. Thanks for coming in as always, David.
Great to see all of you. Thank you.
David Dietz, he's the boss man over at Preference Employment Solutions. He's the president and CEO over there. Find out more about Preference at preferenceemploymentsolutions.com. You can also call him at 293-6905, and as many